Hey everybody, it's Riding Sidesaddle. It's Tammy.
And Lisa.
And we're back with a couple of special guests.
We are like clowns in a clown car right now.
No.
It's awesome. I haven't been this close to people, specifically my daughter, in a very, very long time.
So here's what we're doing. Because Riding Sidesaddle is functions out of a mobile studio. Today we have my daughter Emilee and Lisa's daughter Deidra, and my grandbaby Hudson is with us. And so we are currently driving around in Emilee's car, trying to get the baby to sleep so we can do a recording. So if you hear car noise and blinkers and things, that's Emilee driving. Hopefully we don't hear any horns honking because we've
Thanks. You've just jinxed us.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Sirens, car crashes.
Hopefully nothing like that. If you hear Hudson in the back, that means our plan is not working and he is not asleep. But that's what we're trying to do, is get him to sleep so we can do a recording.
His eyes are getting droopy, but he's trying real hard to do other
Well, we're
things.
not exactly quiet, so I'm not convinced this plan of ours is going to work.
We'll see.
As long as he's not screaming, it's okay.
We're moms.
True enough.
We'll
True enough.
Start with plan 1 and go to plan 2.
And 3 and 4 and 5. So
as necessary.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in the recording studio. So apologies if it is a little distracting, some of the background noise, the road noise and things like that. But, like you said, we're moms. We do what we have to do to get work done.
I call it character.
Fair enough. Character it is. So we thought we would have Emilee back because she was on an episode in season 1.
Yeah.
About 6 weeks postpartum? Not even.
Yeah, it was probably like 4 weeks. I
think it was
bet.
4 or 5.
Okay, all right.
It was right in there.
Yeah, so we thought we would have her back to see how it's going. Hudson is now 7 months.
He says, not great.
Not great.
It's not going great.
Yeah, he's not squished. But Lisa and Deidra are squished in the back seat. And Deidra just had a baby.
I sure did.
Her second baby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her second baby.
That's right.
Right? You have Mally, who's 2.5.
Yep.
And Naraya is, how old is she?
Ooh,
Couple
she'll be
months?
having her 2-month appointment tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, 2 months.
Aw.
So we thought it would be fun to have both of our girls in together and talk about postpartum stuff and what's it like to have a second baby and just all sorts of fun things.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, great times.
So we had talked a bit about Emilee's birth story when she had Hudson, and Emilee, we're on a straightaway now, so perhaps you can multitask maybe and tell us a little bit about kind of how things have been going since Hudson's been born, and just kind of fill us in.
Everything's going a lot better. Let's just say that. I had really rough time postpartum. A lot of things happened all at one time. I think when I was on, Dude had just died, her cat.
Oh, the first time you were on, your cat had died.
Cat had died. That was my first baby. He died abruptly. And then Blake had surgery.
Yeah.
And then I needed surgery.
That had not happened yet.
It
Neither
didn't.
of those two things had happened yet.
Yeah.
But all of that had came up.
Yeah.
And it was very overwhelming.
While you're trying to recover and care for a newborn for the first time, right?
Yep.
So the surgery you had.
Yep.
Hudson really wants to be a part of this podcast.
Hudson likes fingers.
He
loves fingers.
I'm older now. I can tell my own story.
Let me tell you my story from this side of the vagina.
Why don't I come in the front seat and let me speak?
It's much brighter on this side. say anything.
So why did you have surgery? What was that about?
There was some cyst.
A vaginal cyst.
A vaginal cyst.
In
They had
your
found.
vaginal wall.
Yep.
Yeah. He is really. All of a sudden, that boy has a lot to say.
That's because he's pooping.
Is he?
Deidra
I
said
don't
he's
know.
pooping.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Did his eyebrows get really red?
He was just looking at me, holding my fingers very
Oh,
intense.
no, he likes to
Squeezing
do that.
real
If
hard.
his eyebrows are really red,
Then he's not
he should be
pooping.
good. Yep.
My mom doesn't know. You just have to
All right, so let's get back to your vagina,
Anyways,
Emily.
Yeah. So I had a huge cyst in my vaginal wall that they had to take out. I did get a really nice nap
So
during that surgery.
Oh,
so
you did.
that was
That felt pretty good.
Oh my
the
gosh.
positive side of
Yes.
that.
But
So
the cyst
was it
came
trauma from birth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So what
I had never heard of that before.
I didn't either, but I guess what had happened was Hudson actually tore inside
Oh.
of my.
Because you only
Well,
had a couple of, like,
yeah,
really
I didn't-
two really
I
small.
asked them, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Thank God!" And then no,
It
I
turned out
ended
you
up
did tear up really on the
inside,
inside.
and they weren't able to see it.
Wow.
So, yeah, we had to go through that,
Yeah.
and
So that prolonged your whole recovery
Everything.
process because
Yep. mentally, physically,
yeah,
everything.
for sure.
Like all I wanted to do was just feel better, and I felt like I couldn't. So
Until that was behind you.
correct.
And
that
how
was
long?
really
how long
hard.
postpartum was that? Was it like 6
Um,
weeks or so before you were able to have the
No,
surgery?
I'd say I had surgery in January.
It was January, so
Okay.
October, November, December, 3 months.
Okay.
or was it? I think no, it was.
Oh.
You were supposed to have it in January, and
but
the
it got-
doctor was sick, so it got postponed.
Oh.
Morning of, we're just about
Yeah.
to leave and get a call from the hospital saying, "Oh no, surgery can't be done."
Yeah, so it was postponed. I want to
Yeah.
say it was still the end of January,
Yeah, I think so.
like the last
So
week.
12 weeks later,
Yeah.
you're still trying to manage some
Yeah,
pretty
it was a lot.
serious
Yep.
birth trauma.
And then another 6 weeks after that surgery before
she
she's
was
cleared
feeling
again.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're feeling good now.
Now I feel great.
Great. Did you have to go back and have that looked at, evaluated, or?
They did have to, I did have to go for another pretty
A
much
post-op
6 weeks.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it may have been only 2 weeks actually before I went back in, but I had still had stitches and everything like that, and still really freaking tender. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no,
That
No.
sounds dreadful.
it
Yeah.
was
Honestly.
really hard.
I can really understand how that would really take an emotional toll on
Mhm.
you to be feeling that just not well.
Well, and
Right.
that's what it was. I didn't feel good, at all.
So it's like an 18 to 20 week postpartum
Episode.
process.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
Which really just prolongs,
Everything.
it does because
Yep.
Well, 'cause you can't
already,
heal.
Well,
Yep.
you already you didn't have the ideal pregnancy and you weren't feeling well during that period of time to begin with.
Yeah.
So, 40 weeks, so like 52 weeks, a year
Easily.
of not feeling yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
right.
sorry, Hudson. You're worth it, baby. You're worth it.
You did it.
You
It's
did it.
okay, honey.
Oh my gosh. Deidra, you are so about placing blame. Please interject with what you told your son, the first words he heard from you.
Well, yeah, my birthing experience for both of my kids were a little bit funny, I guess. From my first words to both of them, I guess. My firstborn, I had the first words be, "You hurt my vagina." held him up against me and looked him right in the eye, and that That's
what you said.
That's what I said.
Just so you know, this is how we're going to play.
Right. Second one
Welcome to the family.
Second one I looked at and I was like, oh my God, I think I just gave birth to a monkey.
Oh,
like those, you think?
What?
Yeah. I don't know. She's hairy. She's hairy. I'm hairy. I can say it. I'm hairy. She's hairy. I'm hairy. She looked like a monkey.
You're not.
Sorry, Renee, but it's true. It's true. It's okay.
Oh no, we're too loud for him. Oh, all the tricks. So we just had to take a little break and do a quick little fire drill here because Hudson was not so happy. So we had to take a little pause, and Emilee's now in the back seat and I am driving, and so we don't really know where we left off so much, so we're just going to pick up here.
Well, you know, what boy likes to be stuck in the car with 4 giggling ladies, right? I mean, come on, like 4 times your age at minimum. Your mom and your grandma and their friends.
Yeah, great. I mean, we are all family, so he really could just get used to it already.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for 7 months.
Yeah, all right, fine. We'll work on it. Welcome to your future, Hudson.
So I think we stopped talking when we were talking about Emilee's vagina.
Nope, we
Oh.
passed that.
Deidra moved on to
We're
her
over
first
my
baby.
vagina. We're on to Deidre's.
Fantastic.
Excellent. We're moving right along then. So Deidra, you had 2 babies. You said that Malachi was born, and the first thing you said was you hurt my vagina. And then Nariah was born, and the first thing you thought or said was,
You look like a monkey.
yeah, right.
She does have a whole head of
She has a
beautiful,
lot of hair.
dark hair.
She does.
is,
Whole
yeah.
head, shoulders, back, arms,
Ears.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Legs.
Yeah.
Again, monkey. I was a little concerned, but it is starting to rub off. So
She'll grow out of it.
And if she doesn't,
well, then
there's
we'll just
laser therapy.
figure that out.
yeah. There's laser hair removal.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
She is beautiful. Yes, she is.
She's very sweet.
But
So, having 2 babies, Deidra, were your pregnancies and birth experiences the same or similar or completely different?
there were some similarities for sure. Some things, I guess, to recall second time around, I would say. I didn't have as much nausea with my first pregnancy, but I also was doing a little bit more acupuncture during that time to help with that. I did have some treatments the second time around.
Not as much, though.
Not as many,
Just
though.
from a timing perspective,
Yeah.
it
It didn't
just
work
work
out.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you're a busy mom at
Right.
that point,
Oh
right?
yeah, having the toddler already at that point,
Absolutely.
and then squeezing in another hour of a treatment.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tougher standpoint.
Yeah, your schedule's a lot fuller.
Right.
Yeah.
Different work environments too. So in my second time around, I had a coworker who really liked scents in the air. So I had a lot of
Perfume
nausea
and whatever.
from that standpoint. Sat there with the window open just to crack, try to breathe through sometimes without telling anybody yet that I'm feeling nauseous. So that was kind of fun.
Hard to make that incognito when you can't breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so you hadn't told anyone you were pregnant
No,
yet?
I didn't.
Oh.
Yep, just breathing out the window if I could.
That's not a good
Nonchalant, let me just
giveaway.
take a walk outside real quick. And everything's fine, don't worry.
Deidra, why are you working with your head in the window all the time? That's new and weird.
No concerns here, I'm fine.
As you were, everyone, as you were.
But outside of that, for pregnancy wise, I guess actually no, it was different. So my first time around, I did not find out with my son if I was having a boy or a girl, and so the whole like wives' tales, if you have a wider belly versus a more narrow belly, if it sits up higher or lower.
Yeah.
Like all those different types of things were in play that first time when I didn't know. And I did sit lower, and I was a little rounder. And
you did.
So you carried more in front with your first baby?
She was much lower.
Yeah, lower.
She's lower.
Yeah,
okay.
It was in her hips more, I feel like.
Oh,
yes, very much so. And then for my second, it was very much higher, and nothing like in my ribs, but still, you could like
not
she
as
just
low
sat
as
up
the
high.
first time.
Well, and then she stuck out very much in the front. She was very active and like just pushing out on my belly, whereas my first, he was active, but like not nearly the amount that my second was. Just within, just kicking.
Well, and I feel like just your body structure, you have a long torso.
Yeah.
So, but you could definitely tell the difference in your pregnancies, even on the outside, not the way you felt as to how they were sitting, but you could physically see that variation.
It was because even my second time, typically people say like, oh, you will show earlier for your second.
Yeah.
But there was people that were like, are you pregnant?
Yeah, it didn't happen that way.
It didn't happen. It was very weird. And for labor wise, for my first, I did all the research. I'm a big nerd, so I did all the research. Look up all the labor tips. How can I ease this?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What can I do here? Well, all this stuff. And so I wanted to wait at home as long as I could because I knew I was having a hospital birth, and so I stayed at home as long as I could. Bounced on the physio ball, took the warm shower, all that stuff. Finally made it to the hospital, and I was only 5 centimeters. Where, as for my second labor, I waited for those same signs and did the same types of feelings, and I showed up at the hospital and it was already 7 centimeters, and I was raring to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you almost waited too long.
I almost waited too long.
Yep. Oh gosh.
My first labor, I'd say things kind of started around noon, and then I had him at 2:30 in the morning, about. Whereas,
so 12 hours or so.
About 12 hours. For my second, I guess just a couple hours less. But I started feeling things maybe like around, for sure by 7 or so in the morning, and she was here with us by 1.
Wow!
I showed up at the hospiel at noon.
That's much shorter.
Yeah, like she was at the hospital for less than an hour.
Yes.
Right.
Gosh.
Like
Yes.
it was just a hot minute.
She was coming fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming in fast.
And of course, my mom tells me second time around it's gonna go quicker, and I'm like, I know, Mom.
Whatever,
I know.
Mom.
You don't have to tell me everything.
And then she was like, so I'm gonna go, but I really have to poop first. And I'm like, oh God Almighty.
Oh boy!
Just clearing
don't
things
do
out.
that.
Sorry, Deidra, to tell people about your poop, but that was a serious part of this whole. She just rolled her eyes at me.
But yeah, then I show up at the hospital, and I guess I didn't, no one really knows how they're gonna labor, but I guess for my own self and
For sure, your mom doesn't know how you're gonna labor.
Right.
No, yeah, of course not.
Right.
But,
Moms know nothing.
No.
from seeing from the outside perspective, I think when people had seen me labor, they were like, "Oh, she's handling this pretty well." And I guess I just took a lot of my breathing and my awareness inwards with my yoga background, and so I was doing a lot of things internally.
She was.
I wasn't.
Not Emily.
Yeah, I tried. I swore. I
out.
still was loud. I was still swearing. When it came. But when it came to my contractions, I was definitely just turning more inward.
I'll be honest. So I was there at the house before she left, and my
second.
Yeah, for your second. And I wasn't all that concerned that she was going to go poop. Honestly, because I'm like, she's got a bit yet. And it was based off of how, watching her face and,
hurt, but they don't hurt. Like, you know, right? Like,
she's got time.
Right, right. That's on, if I'm being fully honest, that's exactly how I felt. Like, she's got time.
She just hit it really well.
She is incognito.
Wow. And so was the nurse when I showed up at the hospital, and I asked for the wheelchair the second time around, which I did not for the first. And she's like, so we're just going to take you back to this room just to see if you're going to stay here. And
you bet your sweet Bippy I'll be staying. You better bring that wheelchair or I'm not moving.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And I was dealing with contractions, and I was like, just so you know, for my first one, I got nauseated, and I'm feeling that now. She's like, let's just go to the other room.
Well, and that's a big sign for transition. Like, you're moving from into active labor.
Right.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
My first labor too, my water did not break before I showed up to the hospital for both of my labors. My first one, it did break on its own, but the second one, it had to be done by the doctor. And when the doctor did that, it was a huge change. I knew exactly, like, all right, this baby is ready and coming out.
Yeah.
Basically in 3 more minutes.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
It was so weird because I could feel a huge difference, and unfortunately missed out on my time frame from any intervention of pain.
I remember that. You're
so
so angry about that.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
Sorry, with your second, you were planning to have an epidural or something?
So for my first, my intention was to go as long as I could natural. And when we got to the hospital, they told us about an IV version of a pain relief that
which really doesn't do anything.
Which doesn't really,
it takes the edge off.
It took the edge off. That's what they said.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me that it only lasted an hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I had
Sneaky bastards.
Yep. I had it around 7 centimeters at that point, and then by the time I was actually pushing, it wore off. And I remember telling my husband, I don't think it's working anymore. And then for my second, I knew that was an option, and I was like, all right, like, let's get to this, I'll time this out better.
Have the IV
I was gonna have it, yep.
Oh.
And then they're like, okay, well, if you feel like you have to push, just let us know. And I was like, okay, no, I have to push. And they're like, you can't have that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We're
You
doing
have the
this
IV
right now.
medication.
All right, here we go.
So here we are.
Yep.
Again, no pain control.
Mm-hmm. So that was very interesting. But
yikes.
Both of them ended with beautiful babies in my arms. So that's the most important part.
That is the most important part.
It is the most important part.
Oh gosh.
Even if they hurt your vagina.
Even if they hurt it. Extremely bad.
Yeah. There are no words to tell you how much you hurt me.
It's just not something, honestly, that you really, I mean, you forget, like, how wretched the details are, but you don't really forget.
Until
the first contraction happens.
Yes.
The first contraction of the second baby happens, and you're like, oh yeah.
Shit.
That's right.
How did I get myself in this spot again?
How could I have forgotten?
Yeah.
I swear I was never doing this again.
Wait.
Now look at me.
Wait. This feels familiar.
Yeah. And not pleasantly familiar either. No. Ugh. Yikes. So, all right. So that is obviously different from your first birthing experience, Deidra. But now you're already a mom, and you have a toddler, and you're postpartum with the newborn.
Yes.
So
and I
that's
kept
all
both of them
different.
at home.
Yeah.
I have an in-home. So when I went back to work the first time for my son, I found an in-home near my job,
like a daycare provider.
Daycare provider. And she had asked me when I was getting ready for my second, she's like, are you gonna bring him back here? And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna drive to your house with a newborn to drop off my son, drive the newborn back, and do it again for pickup. It's like, I'll be fine. I'll save a little bit of money even. I'll keep both of them home. It shouldn't be too bad.
Right. How bad can it be?
Right.
Yeah. Famous last words.
Yes.
How bad is it?
Well,
Let me tell you.
There's a lot that goes on. There's, not only do my partner have to figure out how to handle a newborn again,
And it's a different newborn. It's not just like, here's, second verse, same as the first. She's a completely different human.
Completely new human.
Yeah.
Super tiny, super fragile, super sleep deprived as parents, handling that. And then still having the toddler who wants to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning ready to play.
Right.
And he is really active. He wants engagement and fun.
Play with me.
Oh, sure. So that was a huge big difference. And it, there is a lot of times where I'm sitting there and with Nariah, my newborn, and I'm like, sorry, Malachi, you have to, it's time to learn how to put on your own pants today. Or like today you're learning how to, do this by yourself because my hands are full.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Malachi is, I'm a proud nana, right? So, it was right around his second birthday. It was right before his second birthday. And you were pregnant, of course. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm like, listen, Labor Day's coming up.
You mean like for real?
No,
that was
September,
joke.
Early September, Labor Day.
Okay, the actual holiday.
Right. You have some vacation time. He's showing signs to be able to be potty trained. You should just cancel all plans and potty train this
Focus
kid.
On the potty.
You do not want 2 kids in diapers, right? And because by the time the baby was going to be born, he would only be 2.5, which is very appropriate for boys to still be in diapers, right? And he took it. He became fully potty trained.
Yep.
So, you kind of missed that bullet, right?
But at the same time, I still knew, even though he became fully potty trained, that there's going to be huge transitions for himself.
Yeah.
For
when
sure.
we came back home with a new baby.
For sure.
Attention wise, all that different kind of stuff. So he wasn't having even any accidents at night really, but I had 1 box of pull-ups left just in case. And I was like, there's going to be a point that there's going to probably be some sort of regression.
Yeah.
And it did happen. It's so hard to tell, I guess, in these pull-ups. It doesn't really show you too well. But he started having accidents in the bed again, and so took those back out. He seems to be doing better and stuff now, but I'm so thankful that I wasn't just he had that regression. I'm glad that we had that extra box.
Yeah. So I love talking about my grandkids, of course, right? But let's talk about your journey from a postpartum perspective.
From both pregnancies again, or
sure,
just the
if
most
you
recent?
have some comparable things or things that were different between the two of them.
Well, I guess again, just from the first time around, I didn't know what to expect, right? I did tear, so I did have some healing that I had to do from that aspect. I had to sit on the donut pillow, and that was awful. And you had all your your padsicles and all your different things for breastfeeding and trying that out, and
every part of your body was either broken or swollen or leaking
of some sort.
Your eyes, your boobs,
So the first time around, I just kind of felt like it took a lot longer, or that it was just a lot worse. And but that also could have just been from my lack of experience, not knowing what to expect. Coming for my second time around, I ended up tearing basically in the same spot, which I guess is kind of normal. But the healing, for some reason, didn't feel like it took as long. Physically, I didn't bleed as long. I was able to get off that donut pillow earlier. I was able to move around quicker. Granted, again, I had to because I had a toddler.
Yeah, you didn't have much of a choice.
But for some reason, it just felt like things were my body just knew. So it was like, okay, we've been through this. Now it's time to patch it back up. We've gone through this before. And
don't do it again.
And don't do it again. But even at my 6-week checkup, my doctor had said, I had asked her that. I was like, is that normal for you to feel like the stitches or the healing down there to feel like it didn't last as long, and she did say that was kind of normal.
Oh.
So I thought I was special, but I guess not.
Well, you are, just not in that way.
Thanks, Tammy.
So special. So special, baby.
Yeah. I also felt like I had a lot more of the postpartum, like baby blues or depression the first time around.
Interesting.
And whereas I had more like pregnancy depression or anxiety during my second one, and then nothing really as much again afterwards, which was different.
So your anxiety was during pregnancy more? Is that what you're saying?
For my second time, yeah. Just a little bit different of a go around, I guess. Just different things in my life, different things about that pregnancy in general, to be anxious or a little bummed about, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the postpartum aspect of that again was just surprisingly a little bit better, which was a relief. But yeah, I guess now things are going pretty well and feeling okay, working on some hopeful slow basic core reconnection for my own self and moving on forward.
So I'm trying to like send you messages from my brain to your brain, but it's not working. So I'm just gonna say it.
It's fine.
And so one of the things that had been important to Deidra, which it's not mainstream at all in America or in Wisconsin, I guess perhaps, is to be able to leverage the healing aspects of ingesting placenta.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's unique, right?
I think you're going to have to explain that because that sounded really disgusting when you just said that.
Yep, I was planning on it.
Okay.
So there's different ways that you can do it, and there are, different thought processes for each of the ways. Like you can cook it and eat it as an organ.
God,
which is what I did not do.
Right.
No.
Yeah,
Let me
liver.
put that out there.
Right.
Clear the air.
I didn't do that.
I mean, it's weird, but
I did not have a
but I'm
steak
not that
night.
weird.
You can put
Get
it
the
in like
Worcestershire sauce out.
A1 sauce.
Oh.
Fish taters and gravy.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh,
No.
All right. There, you can do it like in a smoothie type of thing.
Which I also did not do.
That sounds
But my mom
horrible.
did ask me about it, and I said, I will never drink a smoothie from you again if you do this.
Well, and I did because I researched it, right? I was reading and learning about it and all of the health aspects, and there are some variances I feel like between, depending on as to how you prepare it.
Mm-hmm.
Which really shows different types of health properties. So I did ask about that because I was her preparer, for both of them. But what actually ended up happening is dehydrating it, cooking it, dehydrating it,
And then encapsulating
grinding it, and putting it inside of a capsule so she could take it as
so
a supplement.
vitamin.
When you
Yes.
you ingest it, you don't really eat it.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. That feels a lot different.
Yes, it is. Which I guess I'd be curious to know the benefits of having it as in capsules, because I, to this day, am still taking those capsules, 3 of them a day. Whereas the first time around, I felt like, again, from a postpartum aspect, I felt like my hair had started falling out, afterwards, like more like I felt like my skin just like was like, oh, all right, here we are.
She's no longer pregnant.
No glowing here.
Just
You just
breathe.
look sleep deprived. But for this time, and for some reason, I think I recall only taking them for like 2 weeks or so the first time.
You did.
Whereas for now, I'm just finishing the bottle because why not?
So you're right. What are you going to do with them? Throw them out?
Right. So because I feel like I'm still taking them, I feel like my emotions are still a little bit more level than they were the first time around. I feel like I haven't really experienced much hair loss from it. I feel like maybe there might be days that I might have a small glow still.
Wait, what is that?
Still
Well,
mostly sleep
oh,
deprived.
no, it's sweat. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's right. Just it's summer this time. Yeah. Last time it was turning winter.
I
so-
thought it was a glow.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I call it a glisten.
But yeah, it is really weird. It's not something that I do advertise super.
Sorry.
No, it's
Well,
okay.
because it is a little bit
Because
unusual.
it is,
Yeah, because
Well,
it
It's
is unique.
definitely unusual.
It's unusual here.
Here.
It is not
Absolutely.
unusual. And
Right.
even in many cultures, eating it in
Mhm.
a
Like
different
as an
form
organ.
is
Yeah.
not gross.
Stew.
That
I've heard of like different cultures putting in
Okay.
like stew,
Yes.
chopping it up like
Oh.
stew meat,
Absolutely.
and eating it like that.
Well,
Absolutely.
even postpartum, my mom did an extensive amount of research on nutrition and meals postpartum. So my mom helped me out a lot the first time too. But I know that we even made smoothies and things.
Yeah.
For the first time, but we didn't do as much research. And I should say you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do as much specifically the second time around. But my mom did, and she had read that those trendy smoothies that they say to help lose that baby weight, but also help your milk production, all that kind of stuff.
They're
It's
not
actually
really
not
that
what your
helpful.
body's
No,
needing.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
needing those stews. It's needing those
It
warming
needs the warm, yes, the
and
warm foods,
to
not the
reignite
cold.
that fire that's within inside.
That's right. And easing of digestion,
Mhm.
right? Like when you shock your system with something cold, which is quick and easy and, packed with nutrients and fast, but it's shocking your system with cold, it's
Oh.
requiring a lot from your digestive system. And that is the opposite of what you should be doing with a postpartum body.
Right.
So your digestive system at that point needs to kind of take a back seat.
Yes.
So your healing can take the driver's seat.
Accurate.
And maybe
Interesting.
again, that might have even been a factor for my healing process that second time around. Because like I said, it did feel like it went quicker. It was a little bit more smooth of a transition. But I was listening very much to my mom. Drinking my broth, having my soups.
I gave her a very stern look.
Lots of ginger, and there's some
Oh.
good pre-made different turkey meatballs and other things that were just supposed to be
Lots of protein
Yep, lots of
for
protein.
healing. Yep.
Just the amount of liquids, but again, in more of like a broth form or
So it
teas.
is easy
or,
for your body to digest.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Not
you're
big,
still
heavy
taking
meals.
in those nutrients.
Mm.
Yes. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I think I'd like to think that for sure helped.
I'd like to think that too.
Yeah, and sure it was yummy, and I've also appreciated the food that was just ready to go.
Right, right.
Versus figuring that out, right
That
after
is
having a baby
interesting,
and all the dishes and toddler.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Again, all the things.
And laundry.
And laundry, all the laundry. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Motherhood, it just
Yeah.
it's so I'm skipping ahead like 20 years.
Mhm.
But Tammy had mentioned different humans, right? Your first child was different. His demeanor was different. His triggers were different, right? The things that you have to do to be able to make
Kind of
little
quiet
ones
him
happy.
And settle him and
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Comfort him.
these are absolutely different humans.
Mhm.
And that, I think that's one of the things that still stuns me is like how different mothering has to be
Yeah.
to be unique to that person.
Right.
Mhm.
It's
So
crazy.
you think you've done it once.
Right.
Oh, I know what to do the
right.
second
I
time.
got this.
And it might be completely different.
Yeah, maybe 10% is the same.
Sure.
Right.
You still
But-
know how to change a diaper.
Well,
Right.
sure.
You know,
Right.
Right. But you also may have more anxiety because now this means I'm going to be up again all night. This means I need
Yes.
the donut to sit on. This means I need extra help, getting up and down the stairs or doing laundry or what have you. And having maybe some emotional,
kind of trauma
com-
triggers.
kind of,
Yeah.
right. There's
I would
more of an emotional component to that you maybe didn't have the first time because you didn't know what
Right.
you didn't know.
I would say that's exactly what it is, Tammy. I had part of my anxiety that I experienced during my second pregnancy was just that. I had a really weird fear of that newborn stage. I didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to go through labor again. Those things were just things I wish I could have just skipped to month 7 like Emilee's is at now. So,
yeah.
but then I sat back and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to do it. So here we go. It's either I can have a poor mindset and just be not happy with it and resist it, or I can try and change it and be like, you know, I'm just gonna enjoy this a little bit more this time. I'm gonna try and find, you know, those simple little moments. And this time around, I for sure know that it will pass. It's just a phase.
It's just
not
for right
gonna
now.
it's not gonna last forever. And pretty soon I'm gonna miss these little tiny baby snuggles that I didn't cherish as much that first time because I was so much in a stressful state. And I was like, this is gonna last forever. This is terrible. That I didn't cherish it as much. So now this time around, I'm almost like, this isn't easier, but it's almost better of a newborn experience because I'm changed, hopefully, because I changed that mindset and me just having that gratefulness, that cherishing aspect a little bit more the second time around because I know how fast it goes.
It does. It was so cute. So we had a gathering at our house this weekend, and the baby was kind of being passed around a bit, and she did pretty well for the most part, right? But man, as soon as she found her spot in her mama's arm, we had to laugh because she kind of snuggled her head like directly into your armpit.
Yeah.
So that she's like,
she had to make sure to smell you.
My mom. Love the smell of BO in the morning. But you can
How ripe are we today?
How many days since the last shower party? I'll be the test of that.
Day 5, my best. But you can absolutely tell that, right? That baby felt like
She
the
knew where
most
she
at
was.
home,
Yeah.
right? Like now I can settle in.
Yeah.
And watching tonight with Emilee and Hudson, right? We did the fire drill and switching
Yeah.
around because that's his mama,
Yeah.
right? He wants her.
Yeah.
It's
His bedtime, and we're taking him out of his environment to begin with, and then there are people in the back seat with him that he's never met before, and it's all too much.
yeah, it's a bond though.
Absolutely.
Like it is
Absolutely.
an unbreakable
He settled in
bond.
for sure, and
Yeah.
he settled in when his mom joined him in the back seat, and we're just driving in circles. I have no idea where we are anymore. We're going to need a GPS to get us home from here because I have no idea. I think we're on round 2 of some subdivision, but I'm not even sure.
Say we have gone down both of these roads
I
before.
think that's true.
Is that a police car following us? I feel like
These houses look familiar. They're going to think we're casing the place.
yeah,
here.
they're like
Yeah.
scoping them out.
We're not. We're just trying to keep the baby quiet. Podcasting and babysitting.
So from both of you, and you can like rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first. But like as we're kind of coming towards the end of this postpartum episode, different experiences from each of you, if you had one thing to be able to share with women who are coming into motherhood, whether it be for the first time or the second time, what would you leave people with? Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, I guess I have a.
Don't do it.
Whatever you do.
You know what you're gonna get into.
What goes in must come out.
But it hurts a lot more coming
Right.
out.
I always said it's a lot more fun going in.
But if you're already too late and you are pregnant,
It'll be fine.
yeah,
It'll be fine.
I'd say the biggest takeaway is to make sure you find time for yourself to help re-figure out who it is that you are as a new person that's gone through a new phase in life. You're never gonna have, the same body as before first pregnancy or second pregnancy or even pregnancies after that. Your body is forever changing from that standpoint. So you're saying goodbye to another form of yourself. So refinding who you are, feeling good in your body, and creating time to figure all that out is probably the biggest takeaway for me.
Oh, that is such a lifelong piece of advice,
Oh,
Deidra. young women
Easier said than done.
in their
sure.
20s, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. But I will tell you, as 49 and 52 years old, still managing the process of loving your body and the shapes and the changes that happen, even
It's
after
forever.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's forever changing. I don't know.
Yeah, even that, but within that, again, taking that time for yourself, like leaving the house, going out and just spending an hour out in the woods, or going to the grocery store, or just having some space away to then regroup and come back to the household, come back to your baby or babies or partner and babies, all that stuff.
Right.
It's just having a little bit of time for you to figure out
The new you.
the new you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was very insightful.
I should have gone first. God damn it.
Your turn.
What do you have? She took the easy one. No, hers was
It's a lot more thought out.
She just kept talking.
I'm going with just don't do it.
Run far away.
No. But like Deidra was saying about like taking time for like figure yourself out, but also taking time like with your partner to take that date night. Even if it's just, I don't know, you don't even necessarily have to have a babysitter. Just when they go to bed, go outside, have a fire, just the two of you.
Yes.
Make sure you spend time to try to reconnect that relationship, because that's forever changed too.
It is.
It's not the
Oh
same
my
as it
gosh.
was before.
So true.
And it's going to keep changing.
Right.
And if you want that nice, healthy bond, then you have to put in the effort and the work to it. Do it.
And it's not even from yes, the bond, the romantic portion of it, but
The
you're
friendship.
in a like a high stressful situation with them, and it's like, it's not a, oh, hi honey, how are you today? It's like a, okay, here's the baby. I last fed it at this time and the diaper needs to be changed now. Thank you very much. I'd like to leave.
And goodbye.
Yeah.
Right. I'm really glad that you brought that up, Emilee, because I think that deserves some speaking points all by itself.
Absolutely.
We as women, it is an enormous transition to be able to navigate who you were and who you are and who you're going to be. But that person that has committed themselves to you, they don't experience changes in the same way.
No.
And what they bought in on is one woman, and that woman is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? That
She
woman
is.
is never coming back.
No.
Even when your kids are adults, you're not the
You're
same
a whole
person.
different person.
Right.
Yeah.
And as much as we, joke and rib about don't do it, that's a transition for them. And
Absolutely.
it's kind of like I can't say a trick, but if somebody is not prepared for that mentally and emotionally, it could feel very deceiving.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't talk about that, I don't think, enough either.
And I'm not sure that we realize it, honestly.
We don't, because we experience that pregnancy and the childbirth and postpartum from our perspective.
Correct.
We don't know what it's like to be a man and be the partner and be the person who is doing the support role.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then forever, trying to figure out,
For sure.
who is my wife now?
Yep.
Right.
Because you're not who you used to be.
Yeah.
Right. So that too.
That is important. So those quiet moments that you have to almost plan. Whereas before you didn't. They just happened because no one else was home, right?
Right.
It was just the two of you.
When Blake and I, we went out, my mom watched Hudson, and we went out to this nice dinner and everything, and we get done and we're like, well, what do we do?
Now what?
What are we gonna, we Googled.
Nice.
What do you do on your
to
phone?
I don't know. Google it.
events in the area.
I thought you Googled, it's my first date night after baby. What do I do?
We're back home now. Now what?
Don't have sex.
We were done with dinner around 6:30, and we're like, well, the night's still young. I'm tired. I was like, we should just get a hotel room and honestly sleep. I'm down for that.
That sounds so romantic. Let's have a sleeping day. I promise to dream about you.
We held hands in the prairie together. But no, it was fun.
What do you think the kids do these days?
That's what it was like. And then we ended up talking about it where it just felt not forced, but how you have to plan things out. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like you had just mentioned,
it's not spontaneous.
It's just
anymore.
Friday night, Saturday night. Oh, all right, let's go out to dinner and go
and
wherever
sit around
the
talking
night
and
takes
connecting
us.
and whatever, right?
Yeah.
You literally have to plan it.
Yeah.
And you better hurry because that baby's going to be up in 3 hours.
Right.
Can't be back too late.
Well, and that's it. I've got about 20 minutes for you. Can you talk fast?
Yeah. Right.
So that doesn't feel like connecting.
No.
Right? Like,
right.
Yeah. But you kind of have to make the most of those 20 minutes also.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you're both on the same page and understanding, I'm not trying to rush you. I do want to connect with you, but our time is limited because this is our life right now.
So hop to it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think we're going to try to wrap this up. Tammy has been navigating us around like every subdivision possible. And
I really don't know where we are.
She is the most directionally challenged person in the vehicle too.
Well,
So
that might not be true.
It is undoubtedly true, and I really have no idea where we are.
She's trying to go straight all the time so we don't have blinker noises.
Yeah.
So we could be in Iowa or like
I'm
right now.
finding every tiny little country subdivision I can.
surprise,
so that
we've just been going in a circle.
Yeah, we have definitely been down this road before also. But there's not a lot of traffic, so I don't have to worry about blinkers. So, or, people following us because I'm going extra slow to,
You might want to put the lights on though.
I don't know where the lights are.
We should go.
We should wrap this up.
Yeah, we're going to need to stop.
So thank you, daughters, for joining us in the recording studio. She's
They're
put
on
her
now.
hazards on right now.
They're on. You're okay.
I think they're on auto. I thought
No,
they
they
were
are.
on.
No.
Jeez.
Sorry.
I mean, it is getting dusk. It's 8:35 for crying out loud. Emilee. Could have told me that half an hour ago.
And some things never change, no matter if you're a mother or not.
And that door.
So we'll wrap this up on that note.
Yeah. Now that we've got the lights on, we're good to drive for another hour.
So anyway, thank you for joining us and sharing your stories of motherhood. It is like, my heart is just so big and full right now, just listening to, listening to our daughters share their own experiences as they develop as women.
It's very sweet.
It is.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Deidra just wants another martini. Her baby's still new. She needs another one.
I got a car ride. Whoever knows how long back to where we go. Right? My mom's driving me back again. I got plenty of time.
No idea where we are. So we don't know where we are. We don't know how long it will take us to get back.
Oh, I know where we are.
We need the GPS.
All right, everyone.
So, all right. And thank you to Mind Garden Media, Todd, as always, who puts this together and just, wraps it up in a bow. And I don't have any idea how much work it is, but I can imagine it's a whole heck of a lot.
Agree.
So
Especially
thank you
this
for
one.
that.
I do have to say really quickly today, I was so excited today. I looked at some of our data and we are in new places this past month. So we have been in Singapore, in India, Canada, and France, which have been really exciting as we've been watching kind of our journey through this podcast. But very recently, we have moved into Belgium and Kuwait and Morocco and Slovenia,
Oh wow.
which is
Wowee.
amazing. Yeah,
That
so
is pretty cool.
I just wanted to shout out to that because
Yeah.
I get totally...
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening. I'm so glad you found us. We're currently on Facebook. I don't know if we're on Instagram, quite frankly. This is so bad.
I think
but
you
I can't,
are.
But I can't really figure it out, so I don't know. We might be, who the heck knows?
We'll work it out still. We
yeah,
keep saying that.
I know, and we will eventually.
Deidra will help us.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
wrong way.
but also, yeah, who's directionally challenged, Emilee?
All right.
Good
Thank
Lord.
you from Riding Sidesaddle.
But also, you can find us every Monday. We put out a new episode every Monday. So if you're not getting our Facebook alerts, then just check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Audible. We're on all the places.
This says no outlet, so we're going to go now.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Very good. Bye.